was that process like from having a day job to going full-time voice acting? Welcome to Behind the Slate, where I sit down with fellow voice actors and other industry artists to have a fireside chat. I'm your host, Christian O'Boyle. If you'd like to know more about me, please check out my website at christianoboyle.com. In this episode, I'll be talking with Elsie Lovelock, a voice actress and singer from the UK. She has been a YouTuber and stage performer for 10 years before venturing into the world of voice acting. She now voices in a plethora of different types of projects, including indie games, animations, songs, and commercials. Some of her recent games include Wargroove and Lorelei, and you'll be able to hear her in the upcoming animation by Visipop, Has Been Hotel, as well as the sequel to the famous indie game Hunipop. So how are you? How's your day been?
I'm good, thank you. It's actually been a really nice day for once. I actually feel pretty content. It's been sunny. I got a lot of work done. So how are you? How's your day?
Day's kind of starting, but it's been good. The
Yeah.
wife went to the chiropractor and brought home coffee, so
yeah. Oh, get your back done and bring back some coffee as well. That sounds great. We all need that, don't we?
Yeah.
Get your back done. Get some caffeine in you. Because I just forgot that you were in California, aren't you?
Washington State, just outside of.
Okay, so still West Coast.
West Coast, but I'm closer to. I'm 40 minutes out of Seattle.
Right. Oh, cool. I haven't been up there before. I've only been to like LA area, but it looks really nice up there though. So you're still in like the kind of the West Coast time zone. Right. Okay. I get it. Right. Yeah. So it's really early for you. I'm so sorry.
Not too bad. It's only 10. We're good.
Oh, okay.
I'm awake by this time anyway.
Right. 6 a.m.
No, but the PNW Pacific Northwest is very green. You got a lot of trees. It's actually very similar to kind of the UK London area.
So raining.
Rains
a lot.
It's overcast right now, which is fantastic because the last couple of days have been about
boiling.
27 Celsius. I looked that up.
So okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad, but it's warmer than I would prefer.
No, same. Yeah, it was like 33 degrees here last week. I was dying, so I'm glad that it's like chilled out a little bit because that was ridiculous. Also, sorry if I take water drinks, and I hope I'm allowed to do that.
Not at all. You may not hydrate at all. I like the mouth.
That's so ungraceful. This whole thing has been like the webcam falling everywhere. Me like, so yeah.
Us in the community, we see all these other voice actors and actresses who have been in the industry for years and who are professionals and who know the ropes. And we go, I just want to talk to that person. I don't know how to approach them. I don't know how they.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's very intimidating. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, it's very intimidating to do that and to like strike up a conversation. You never know how people are going to react. But I think this is a great idea. It's a really nice way to like, also give info to other people and have a nice chat at the same time.
Yeah, and show that we're all human. We're all goofballs.
Exactly.
Because we all love anime and video games and all of that stuff.
Exactly. We all have that in common. Yeah, exactly.
And I think all of us are quirky. I don't think I have not met someone who I've interviewed that isn't quirky in some sort of way. And so it is showing.
Oh, no, for sure.
Yep. It is showing that we're all on the same scale in terms of personality and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah. So what is something that got you into acting?
Well, funny story about myself. I actually, my love for the whole thing came from animation in general, because I sort of had like a weird, I'll try and keep this as simple as possible without going on a tangent. I was sort of like a weird journey, because I actually am an artist, so I actually used to draw all the time. I say used to because I don't really have time so much nowadays, but like I draw as well. So when I was a kid and when I went into my teens, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an animator. I'm going to, work for this studio. I'm going to work for Disney, all that typical animator thing. And then I think the turning point for me, because I'd always loved doing silly voices and, me and my brother used to play with our beanies and give them different voices. And I always loved cartoons and all that. And, the turning point came for me. When I was 17 years old, I got selected to be in, audition, but I got to be in an opera. And I was really, really scared because I'd like done school plays and stuff, and I was doing drama at school, but I'd never been in like a full scale, like dramatic stage production. And it was an amazing experience because like I'd always loved singing. I think because singing was like my main gateway into all of this to begin with. Like I'd say I'm like a singer first and foremost. Yeah, then I did that, and it kind of just opened my eyes to like what my true love is, you know. It was one of those turning point experiences because I'd always believed that I was going to go through life being like a shy, you know, artist, always like drawing all the time. But then I was like, no, actually I can, you know, act and be on stage, and this is best feeling ever. So I did that, and it kind of just was a turning point for me. So from then on I did like lots of different, you know, like stage productions and auditions, and obviously I have my YouTube for 10 years, and I think my YouTube contributed really heavily to getting me out of my shell with performing, because obviously, like, you know, when you're putting stuff online, you know, it's a bit scary. You're gonna get the old trolleys coming out, and you know, you're always subject to criticism. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I sort of went from animation to song and stage to voice acting. And I was actually pretty scared to venture into voice acting because the whole community, and you're not going to believe this because of how nice everybody is now, but it honestly just really intimidated me. Because first, it's one of those things where people don't quite know how to get into it, you know? Like, it's one of those things that you're like, oh, I want to be a voice actor, how do I do that, you know, kind of thing. And it's literally just from just trying and just sending stuff off. Like, you know, I sent stuff off that I was like, I'm not going to have a hope in hell of getting into any of this stuff. And there's stuff that you end up being cast for. Like, it's just, you know, it's crazy. So that wasn't really in a nutshell. I do apologize. I tend to go on tangents. I'm really sorry if I ramble, but
no, that's it. It's your story. This is all about your story and stuff like that. So there is no tangents. It's you telling who you are and why you fell in love and have a passion for what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And it can all originate from so many different things. And, you know, I think animation and voice acting obviously go hand in hand. So that's where the journey started. And then the confidence to start it came from all the stage stuff. And I think being a singer as well really, really helps with voiceover. Like, I cannot stress enough, even if you can't sing, just doing like singing warm-ups, doing drama classes, stuff like that, just infinitely help so much. So I think that really helped my segue, because I was always used to like emoting through song and, you know, the song covers that I did and the stage stuff, and then it helps you really translate that into speaking and character work as well. Like, you know, it all goes hand in hand. So finishing off my tangent, that's my story.
how do you think that singing kind of allows for a voice actor to expand and become better at what they do? Maybe breath support, maybe range, or what's your thought
for sure
on that?
Yeah, like you've answered that like perfectly. Like, breath support, diction, range, warming up the voice as well, because, you know, often, all the time, when I'm about to start a day of doing voiceover stuff, I'll always do a singing warm-up, because it gets you up and down the scales. It you know, increases the strength of my vocal cords as well, has like, you know, tripled over the years. Like, it's able to handle like a lot more. You know, like go for longer, you know, be louder, project more, you know. It's all just really, because like, some people have problems with projecting and being louder. Like, they find it hard to do stuff like screaming and shouting, and other people, and this is also probably one of my biggest weaknesses as well, is finding it difficult to be subtle sometimes, because I'm so used to being like, oh, you know, suddenly when it's like really intimate, you know, it's difficult, you know. So I'd say it's infinitely helpful in your confidence as well. Like, if you do stage stuff, it's just, oh my god, it makes your confidence going behind a microphone so much easier as well, because you just treat it like the stage. So it all goes hand in hand. It's just great how it all relates and it all helps each other. So
it's such a beautiful craft, and I
oh,
love
definitely.
And I love how even in stage, I mean, the difference is you have to project everything.
For
Your
sure.
quiet moments on stage is projeced.
Exactly.
Your loud moments is like you're yelling.
Giving everything.
And then obviously reeling that back, but it does kind of put you into a world where you have to think, oh, you're at a train station and you have this prop and this prop.
Oh, for sure. Exactly. Because that's the thing, is exactly what you've just said. It's the isolation of voiceover, which is the biggest problem. It's the fact that you're given a script, you have to pretend that you're in a crazy situation, And on stage, you're in costume, you got the set, it's all there for you. Everybody's playing along with you. It's much, much easier. But voiceover is so difficult in the way that you have to really put yourself into a character's shoes and inhabit it completely in order for it to sound convincing. But it all really helps. I'd say any kind of practice you can get with drama or improv or singing, stage, vocal warm-ups, anything all helps so much.
Yeah.
Not just for confidence, but for technique as well.
Definitely.
Yes.
I have found drastically that my vocal range has increased as I do musical theater.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, do you sing as well and stuff like that?
So I do sing, and I've been getting better, because when I started musical theater, I really couldn't sing. I kind of just knew enough to do audition. My wife does theater, and she got me into it.
Oh wow, that's brilliant.
She did a show, and I'm like, I really want to do that, and she goes,
yeah, exactly.
Honey, you can't sing. And I'm like, teach me how to sing. And so she taught me. I took some lessons and then started going from there. But now I'm singing all these other Broadway shows and trying to sing with these other songs, but also finding it in my own range. And so my lower end has increased within the last 6 months.
Me too. Yeah, but I had such a crappy low voice, and you can hear it in my old covers. You can hear how my voice gets so shaky when I'm trying to do the low notes, and now it's completely different. I can hit all these notes that I couldn't hit when I was 17 and all that stuff. So if anything, just doing it for a while just really broadens the range. And oh god, it's so much good. That's really interesting that you do that as well, because I actually didn't know. I was actually going to ask what if you did that as well. But yeah, you completely agree, and that testifies to the fact that it can be so useful. It is so useful.
And generally, I don't even do vocal warm-ups when I get into the booth. If anything, my day job requires me to talk, so my voice isn't not warmed up.
Oh yeah.
But if I do have to warm up, I'll either do the lip trill to kind of get the vocal cords.
That's a brilliant one.
Yep, vocal cords moving, and then I'll actually sing a song. That's my warm-up, is I'll sing one song, generally with a decent range, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. It really pumps you up. It gets you ready. Like I do that just around the house, like just sing a bit of a song, do a bit of riffing, like, just get in the groove, and it helps infinitely. So I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah. And so music is such an important part, I think, in acting in general, whether you're a singer or not. I think that it is important just to, like we said, expand your breath control, because you need the support, especially if you're going to yell. I'm still learning how to yell properly without killing my voice, because I could probably go about 5 minutes, maybe 10, and I'm like, how do people do this for 2 hours? Like,
I know. No, I'm the same. Like I've done it, but I mean, not without paying the price. Like it just leaves so hoarse, towards the end of the day. And I used to work in a call center where I'd be talking all day constantly with just an hour's break for lunch from 9 to 5. And going home and like doing auditions and doing voiceover through all that. Like I was still getting, some jobs and stuff. So I'd still have to go home and record. And that was hard. That was really hard. Like that was when I would literally you just have to push yourself through it. And so I really sympathize, like, because like now I'm fortunate enough, like where I don't have anything like children or a car or anything like that, because in the UK you don't really need one. I don't have any stuff like that, so financially I am like able to do this full time. I'm like self-employed now, so like I'm so grateful for the fact that I don't have to do all that anymore, because it was so difficult, and believe me, it took a lot of work to get to this point. But like I remember how difficult it was really difficult. And doing retail, like I did retail through doing voiceovers, where you got to talk to customers all day, same as call center. But it is exhausting. So kudos to everyone who's working at the same time, because I know that I'm just one of the lucky ones. I'm just lucky in the way that I don't have all those other financial commitments yet, so I'm able to. But I hear some friends right now who are literally doing the same as what I used to do, like 9 to 5 jobs, sometimes even longer shifts, 12 hours, nearly 20 sometimes. It's just like, oh my god, like I sympathize so hard. And it's really important to try to take care of yourself as well, like if you have any time, you know, try and have a day where you don't do so much talking, or,
Yeah.
you know, drink the right stuff and hydrate, drink
All the
water.
time.
Oh my God, drink. I can't stress this enough. I get your friend who's like, oh yeah.
I drink
Yeah,
this. I drink 40 ounces of water. I drink this about 3 times. I fill this up
yeah,
3 times. So
good.
about
Thank
120
you.
ounces of water every day.
Thank you. I'm so sick of like a friend being like, yeah, I'm really thirsty, and then they crack open a can of Coke, and I'm like, no,
What are you doing?
no, what are you doing? That's full of sugar. That's not going to hydrate you. Or I'm really thirsty. I have a beer. You know, that's even worse. Like,
Now you're talking about water. Now I'm thirsty.
no, I know, me too. I was like, oh damn, I'm thirsty now. I'm talking about dry throats and stuff. I want to have a drink. But yeah, no, to wrap it up, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
So what was that process like from going from having a day job to going full-time voice acting? Was it hard? Was it a perfect transition? What was your experience like?
In terms of me, it wasn't an easy transition at all, because it would get to a point where I had my full-time job, and then I was kind of earning enough to like not to go without having a job for a little while, but it was very unstable. So I had about 5 months, I think, because I left my call center job and then I went to my retail job, which I only had for about a few months, and I'll get to that. But yeah, it was hard because it was very unstable. Like, I'd have months where I was earning a lot, months where I was earning not very much, and it was very inconsistent. So I would say that, like, if it's anything that anybody is thinking of doing or contemplating doing, just make sure that like you have enough to live for the important things, because obviously there's stuff that you can cut down on. Like, I had to cut down on a lot for myself, you know, and it could sometimes get difficult, especially like I lived with my mum at the time. Like, I only was recently able to move because it's so expensive out here, so I finally have my own place, so it was great. But you know, I was able to afford that because it just got to the point where it got from working really, really hard and just putting yourself out there so much. I was earning enough where, and being busy enough, I should say, to the point where having a job wasn't viable. Because I later down the line, like I mentioned, I had a retail job and I was only there for a few months because it actually started getting in the way of the voiceover. And that's how I knew. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can manage it then. Because, you know, I would say to my boss, I'm like, oh, I've got to, you know, auditions and stuff. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I also had like a cabaret job in London, and it was difficult because that was freelance. Like, I could easily work that around voiceover because I could tell them when I was available. So I also had this freelance job. I don't do it anymore, but that was like a stage job, and that, you know, and my job was getting in the way of that, all the performing stuff that I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, maybe I can probably get by on, you know, just doing voiceovers. So yeah, so I did, and it was a difficult transition. It was very up in the air you know, for a lot of the time, and very inconsistent. And I don't know, you know, if I was earning enough and all that, but eventually it got to the point where I got busy enough, and now I'm at a point where like there's always something to do, and that's like, touch wood, and that's, you know, touch wood that it stays like that, but like there's always something to do. And that's what I'm really grateful for, is that someone will want me at some point or another where I'll always have something to do. And it's the only advice I can give is just to work really, really hard. Like, you know, obviously everybody does, but just don't give up, you know, just literally don't stop. Like, I'm still doing this today, like, because now it's like I moved, but now I have a house to pay for and all the bills and stuff like that. So it's like I can't, you know, can't let up. You know, things can't get stagnant, so you just always have to keep going and keep grinding. And it is an exhausting grind, but it's like, you know, with any job, you just have to treat it the same. You have to respect it. You have to be professional. You have to treat it like anything else. And I think just because it's voice acting, everybody, you know, there are some people out there who just don't think that it's something to be taken seriously.
I think a lot of people don't think it as a business, even though, like, I want to make this full time. It's like, it's business. There's accounting, there's marketing, there's branding, there's there's CRM, all of this stuff. I'm like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Exactly. Like with if you were opening up a bakery or something, you do the same thing. You get on social media, you do your marketing, you do your branding, and you're opening up little local bakery, and you got to get all those things that are unique to you and make them look good and show them off. You know, it's all this stuff you got to think about. And honestly, I think that was the toughest part for me, because I found it like so hard to put myself out there as well. Like I'm really bad at putting myself in the spotlight. Like I just get so like, ugh. So I think that's the thing that's hardest, is that you have to keep pushing yourself in front of everybody and be like, hey, look what I can do, you know? Yeah, give him the old razzle dazzle. I think that's the thing that's like hardest for me in that way. That's the best advice I could probably give in terms of that question.
Yeah, of course. Now, how do you, because after a while you start building up clients or leads and all this stuff, how do you organize all of your clients and your leads? How do you keep a track of that?
Sometimes, I mean, this is going to sound so stupid, but my system for how I work every week is I don't do anything on the computer. I write everything down.
Okay.
Like I literally have a notebook. I do it all on paper. And I think maybe that's the artist side of me, but I don't like putting things on the computer, having it, you know, I have like having it physically in front of me, where for that week, I'll write down the whole list of everything that needs to be done. And I'll write the deadline next to it. And I'll write down what the character is, who it's for, blah, blah, blah. It's so simple, but just ticking off the list bit by bit is such a mentally like freeing thing to do. Like when you see that, you know, crossed off rather than just being deleted on the computer. I don't know if that's what you meant in terms of the question, but that's literally how I keep things organized. I just literally write it down on a list, and I do a new list every week. So I write down, and if it's something that I didn't manage to do last week, I'll write it again on the list until it gets done. Yeah, and then I'll cross it off, and then, you know, if everything gets done somehow, then it all gets crossed off, and I start a new list and see what else needs to be done.
Yeah.
But it's so simple, but massively effective. Just a list. Lists save everything. Lists are the best. Lists are my life. So that's literally how I keep everything organized. So I've got no fancy spreadsheet or anything like that. You know, I'm too dumb for all that stuff. So I just keep it really, really simple, because otherwise I'll get overwhelmed. And, you know, that's okay. Like that works for me. I don't have to be like, oh, I got a computer. I got to, you know, do all my spreadsheets and my iPad and all, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. Just do whatever works best
Whatever
for you.
works. Yeah. For your organization.
Works. Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think it might be important to follow up with past clients and potential future leads? Because I think a lot of people forget that aspect of, you worked with them about 6 months ago, but you need to have them remember you. Like, why is that important for just a freelancer in general?
It's important because you never know. Well, I mean, you obviously never know when they might need you again, you know, and that's the thing. That's why auditioning, holy crap, audition, because I've had it happen, proven so many times where I've auditioned for stuff and I didn't get that particular role, but then later down the line, they've gone, oh, even though you weren't a good fit for this one, we feel like for our next project, you'll be a better fit for this one. And then often that's led to me getting a role in whatever their next project was. And obviously, like, social media is great for this as well. You know, obviously put your best foot forward, you know, post everything you've been doing, just keep yourself active on social media, even though it's tiring, because you never know, like, because a lot of the time you'll get a client and you'll follow each other on social media. You might become friends on Facebook if you got on really well. You know, you never know when they're going to keep seeing what you're doing. And, you know, I've had people message me and go like, oh, I saw that cover you did, you know, would you like to sing the song for this and that? You know, you never know where it's going to lead you. Like, make the net as big as possible and you'll catch more fish, or the likelihood of catching more fish goes up, you know. And it's just, you know, be nice, be friends with everyone, you know, just keep in contact, you know, again, social media, keep auditioning for stuff. So yeah, that's what I'd say to that. Just always be nice.
Now, what is something that you think you can do to stand out to those clients and maybe to be remembered, maybe going in the extra mile to do something for them or to get things in on time?
Like what you've just said, just being the best at what you're doing in every way, not just the voice, in how you act, how well you organize things, how easy you make their life as well. Because obviously, like, you know, we want to be treated fairly. We want to, you know, make sure stuff is easy for us, but we also need to make sure that it's easy for the client. Like, ask them, like, what file would you prefer this in? How would you prefer this? Do you need me to do any audio stuff on this? You know, even though we prefer not to, but, like, you know, if they need it, then fine and we've got the time, just help them out, be professional, just ask what will make their lives easier. And often they really appreciate that. Like, again, I've had people who weren't used to working with someone who acted professional. I mean, what does that say? Like, there are people out there just being like, oh, there you go, whatever. And then, you know, you come along and you act nice to them and professional, you know, they're really grateful for it, even though it doesn't seem like it. So I definitely just say, be as nice and considerate and professional as possible, and it gets you a really long way, for sure.
We have a saying in our home theater, be the best version of yourself.
Yes. Oh, that's a great saying. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly. Just be the best that you can be.
We sit down in orientation and we have to sign a contract or a piece of paper that says, I will be the best version of myself. I will have no rumors. I will not treat others poorly. I will treat them as best as I can.
Yeah.
And
that's fantastic.
I think being able to overlay that into our freelancing and into our business to make sure, hey, is there anything I can do besides voice acting? Because there's a project that I'm in, the Pretenders Guild, and I said, hey, I know that you're really busy and things like that. Would you like your game to be submitted to IMDb? And she goes, oh, that'd be so great. I'm like, well, give me all the information you have and I'll put it on IMDb for you.
Yeah,
goes,
and do
are
that.
Are you serious? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
they appreciate that so much. Yeah, exactly. That's just little things like that, you know. And even if you can't do anything extra, just being nice and being professional is so great.
Give what you can give at the best you can give it.
Yeah, and treat people how you'd want to be treated, which is like my mantra in life, you know, treat people how you want to be treated. You know, you never know what you'll get back. So
yeah. So I know that a lot of people have been on the fence, and this kind of relays into marketing and relays into building, I think, clients, is a lot of people are like, oh, do I need a website? What is your thoughts on having a website? Do you feel it has brought you, at least given people a landing page of, here's my demos, here's my links to my social media, here's how you can contact me, just here's me?
Yeah, I would definitely say get one, because I had one for a really long time, purely because I was putting off the amount of work that does go into making a website, because it took me weeks before I had it the way I wanted and before I published it. And then obviously you have to buy the domain and all that stuff, but it's easy, you know. And you can make it a version of yourself. You know, mine's all pink. Love pink, my favorite color, so my website is going to be pink. You know, it shows who you are, and it is such a fantastic way, and I can't stress this enough, to just have everything in one place. Because the amount of times I was applying to projects, I'd have to link like my resume in a Dropbox, my demo reels on SoundCloud, my IMDb as a resume, you know, like all of these different freaking links, and it's like they're all just in one place now, and they can look on my resume and my previous client list and listen to all my reels and see my bio and get an idea about me. Like, it's all there. And you know, when you think of any professional voice actor, they all have websites. Like, I'm not joking, like they pretty much all have one. Maybe some of them won't, but pretty much everybody I know who's like a really prolific working professional has a website. So I would say definitely, when you can, obviously take your time to make sure that, you know, you do it properly. You know, obviously make sure you've got enough to put on a website as well. I would say wait until you kind of build up a significant enough of a resume that having a website won't look completely, you know, like barren, which can be a bit, you know, tragic. Because that was one thing I put off about having one for a while, is that I didn't think that my resume or previous clients was good enough. And then finally this year, it was this year I made my website. I mean, like, I've had a whole year of, you know, doing it full time where I didn't have one. But now that I have one, I'm like, even if people are going to look at it, even if they don't, at least it's there. And at least I can go, boom, there I am. You can look if you want. If not, that's cool. But it's all there. And it's just so easy. Much easier.
They're like, oh, can you send me a link to your demos? Here's my website.
Yeah, exactly. Here's website. Here's everything about me.
3 demos right there.
Yeah, exactly. Everything right there to listen to if you want. And it's so much easier, because if I were a client and I said, oh, can you send me something about you? And they sent me a website, I would much prefer that over 5 different links that I then have to click on and find, you know, and all that stuff. So I would say, in answer to that question, yes.
Yeah.
when you are ready, get one and make it nice, and have it reflect you and be unique, but do it so much easier.
Well, even there's an about page that people can actually get to know you
exactly.
by just reading a short bio about you, and they're like, oh, this person's really cool. I like that about them.
Definitely.
My vocal coach, my voiceover coach, she's been in the industry for probably 30 years or so.
Wow, that's amazing.
She has never had a website until
really?
like a month and a half ago or so.
Wow, no way.
I do designs. I design websites on Wix and stuff like that. So she came to
me.
me. She goes, so I heard you do websites. I was like, yes. She goes, I've never had one. I'm like, what do you mean you've never had? She goes, yeah, I have a couple clients and a couple like leads that they're asking for my website and I don't have one. And she goes, I think it's time for one. I was like,
oh no, okay,
let's get this. So I worked as a client to my voiceover coach. She was then my client as I designed this.
To do her website. That's brilliant that you do that as well, because it's so useful. And that's the thing. Another thing I will say is that you don't need one to get work, but it sure makes your lives and the clients' lives a hell of a lot easier by having it all in one place.
Yeah.
Makes everything, and you want life to be easy. So
it looks professional because you could
it looks,
you can have elsielovelock.com, or you could have here's my docs.google.com / demo
demo reel -1.
And then I need to send you my soundcloud.elsielovelock / commercial, and here's my
exactly, and then here's the demo, and then you're sending like sort of 5-6 different links at a time, and this is what I was doing for a really long time, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they're bothered to click on them, and so sometimes they probably weren't, so just having it all in one place, it's done. Boom.
Yeah, super simple. Where would you like to see yourself in, say, 5 or 10 years?
I really like to just be acquiring like AAA work, because although I'm really fortunate to have been in like a lot of like high-end indie games and stuff, and they're all on consoles and stuff, and that's great, I would really like to further my opportunities, because being in the UK is brilliant for acting and it is good for voiceover, but it's not so great for like video game voiceover character work. Obviously there's shows and stuff out there, but like it's all just kind of, it's not as broad as the spectrum say is in like LA or Texas or New York or whatever. Like the US is just bigger and there's just more stuff, and they do need British talent for stuff. So I think I'm not going to sort of make any concrete dreams that I'd like to see happen, like, hey, when you be in this video game, because it's probably never going to happen.
I just want to go in a studio. That's my first number one goal. Studio wherever, for whatever.
I've been in a few, like, for some, I did have a character job this year in commercials and stuff, and singing stuff is probably what I've mainly been in a studio for. But like, I would just, I'd like to be in that position where I'm going into a studio very regularly. I'm not always in mine, which is great. I love mine, but I'd like to actually be directed by someone on the other side of the wall more, and just have better opportunities. Even if I don't get them, I'd just like to have the opportunity to give it my shot. And that's kind of where I really want to be in the next 5-10 years, is to just be in a better place where I'm getting better work, doing more AAA stuff, just doing even more than I am now. So so I'd say that's my answer.
That's awesome. Is there a project or projects that you can talk about that you're most excited about?
I mean, there's a lot,
or maybe ones that have already released recently.
There's some. I was really happy and excited for Wargroove to come out. Like, that was very exciting. Like working with Chucklefish and them being local was a bit of a marvel, because I didn't know they're based in the UK, and I got to actually go to their studios, and I got to sort of go to their celebration for the game when it came out, and it was really nice to actually be involved in a game's developers celebration of their game, and I got to like have a picture taken with a big thing with my character on it and all that, and all of that was just a really amazing experience for me, because I'd never really experienced anything like that, because anybody else I've worked for, they've either been like in Asia or America, so I haven't been able to like be a part of what goes on with stuff like that. But that was all really nice. I'm really excited for Has Been Hotel to come out. Like it has a release date now, October, so only like a couple of months away, and that is it's going to be so amazing. And like to be part of like an original animation as well in a role like that is really cool, because it kind of, with that project, like I don't know how much you know about it, but the main character, she sings, so I'm not her speaking voice, that's Jill Harris, who's an amazing voice actress, but I do her singing. And being a fan of Disney and like growing up loving people like Lea Salonga and Liz Calloway and all of these vocalists, who Broadway singers who would take over the vocals for all these characters, it kind of made me feel a little bit like that. I was kind of like, oh, I'm the singing voice. It's a cool feeling. I just, because I love all that kind of stuff, and I really love just being a part of something like that, and hearing your voice coming out of an original animation is always awesome. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm trying to think what else there's another game coming out. It is an indie game, but it looks amazing, and it has gotten very high praise. It won an award this year, and it is coming out. They're doing another one, and I'm going to be in that, and that's kind of like a personal voiceover dream for me. I can't explain yet, but it'll all make sense when it comes out. But to other people it may not be that big a deal, because they're like, oh, I do that kind of stuff all the time, but like to me it's like, wow, like that's something that I've been really like wanting to do for years, and like it's finally like coming true, and I've recorded for it, and it's probably going to take a long time to come out, because it is a very like awesome looking game, but I'm really excited for that. I just kind of feel like stuff is just going well, and I'm excited to see. I've got a lot of stuff that's due to come out that I can't talk about and stuff like that. It's just nice to have all that in the pipeline. You feel busy, you're just grateful for the work. It's all just really grateful that I get to do this.
That is fantastic, and there are a couple of games that I think I'm super excited for, but I can't wait to be able to have a list and be like, look at this, and exactly. Look how awesome. Not even like look at this because I voiced in it. Look at this because how awesome it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I had the fabulous opportunity to be a part of it, but that's not. Yeah. This is what they created.
Yeah, exactly.
Their world and stuff like that. It's it's so beautiful.
I know, right? it's creativity is just amazing. I love it.
I love all forms of art, really.
Oh, me too.
I'm a musician, theater.
Oh, what do you play?
I'm a drummer.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my God, I'd love to be able to drum, but like I have sense of beat, but not to the point where I can do anything like drumming, but still doing the thing there. But that's amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Brilliant.
And then I like to write. I'm not a motivated writer, but I did hire a writer to help me create. We're actually writing a novel right now.
Oh wow.
Or just awesome. Starting. We're kind of getting the concrete and getting the world fleshed out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just I think art is so beautiful, being able to tell different stories and the emotions, and being able to portray you.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's so much out there to create.
It is. Where can people go to find more about you and more about your work?
Oh, well, my website, which is elsielovelock.com, not .co.uk, it's .com. I've got all my reels on there. I've got 3 singing reels, I've got 3 voice reels, and I'm producing my own 4th reel, which is going to be my video game interactive reel, and then the other character reel that I have right now is going to become my animation reel, just so I have lots, because with me I'm extra, like I'm just like, I'm gonna look at all the stuff I could do, I'm gonna do it, so that's just me being extra. But I got my website, my YouTube, if you look up my name, all my covers will come up. I've got like over 200 covers from like Disney, anime, video games, animations, all kind of stuff. I've been doing that for like 10 years. There's so much stuff.
What's your favorite genre?
Oh, I don't know. You can't ask me that. I don't know. What, to sing or just like what I like?
To sing.
To sing. I love the Disney stuff. I love the princess and like, that's all like really fun to do. I actually, one of my favorite things to sing that I really love singing is like jazz, big band, easy listening.
Yeah.
So I actually have like an easy listening sort of / jazz reel on my website, which is kind of those like, you know, kind of songs like, you know, lounge. I love all that kind of stuff. Like I love singing that so much. But yeah, just yeah, so my YouTube and my website. Ooh, my Twitter is just mainly me just being a bit of a goof. Like I just write random stuff. I post pictures and videos of my dog. I just retweet memes and stuff. So if you want to see like the dumb part of me, then follow me on Twitter. I do like post like project updates and stuff going on with work as well, but that's mainly like my goofing off social media. But yeah, I'd probably say those 3 things. Have an IMDb as well, but it's just boring. It's just an IMDb. It's just a list. I've got a better resume on my website, so that's all there. Yeah, those 3 things, I guess. I'm trying to think of something else, but I can't think. Don't even bother with my SoundCloud. If that comes up, it's rubbish. It's so bad. SoundCloud has just been like my dumping ground for like
pretty much
and projects and stuff that never happened. So yeah,
I always like put a lot of stuff on private, just like
yeah.
when they're like, hey, can you send me this? You're like, can I have your email so I can actually send you the MP3?
Yeah.
They're like, no. I was like, all right, here's a SoundCloud link.
I hate that as well. Like when people don't want to like download a file or at least preview it, because it's like, I've got the MP3 right here.
Yeah.
It'll save you a bit of time, but then they're like, no, I want to see a link or SoundCloud, and you're like, oh, okay, so yeah, oh, God.
Upload, make it private.
I'm gonna put a picture. Oh Christ, yeah, it's just
too
so
much
much
work.
Send it exactly. So that's get a website. Then you don't have to do all that rubbish. It's all just there. So yeah, summing up, I think that's probably Twitter, not Facebook, Twitter, website, and YouTube. Yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and coming on the show with me.
Oh, has it gone? Has it been all that time already? I'm so sorry if I went on so many tangents.
No, God,
like I talk a lot. So
like
I'm
I
so
said,
sorry.
that is exactly what I'm trying to portray. And I just want to get to know Elsie Lovelock, and
yeah, no, it's been lovely to talk to you.
Yes, no, thank you.
Really nice. Yeah, that's been awesome. I really like the idea of this. I think this is a great idea. So it's brilliant. Hopefully it can encourage more people, and you know, you're not alone out there. We're all fumbling around trying to figure out what the hell to do. So every time you doubt yourself, just you know, think like that. So yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for taking your time as well.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Slate with guest Elsie Lovelock. If you liked the episode, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell button to stay notified. I look forward to seeing you again. Recording it. I could have had that recording.
No, don't record. No, not right. At least I got the camera to stay, so we're good.
Oh, Elsie's not as scary as we assume.
Yeah. No, I am. Like, I will be available at 6 o'clock. And no later. But yeah, like I think in a nutshell, that wasn't a nutshell. That was like a giant walnut. But you know what I mean.
Walnuts have shells.